An aircraft factory in East Yorkshire says it'll be taking on 70 new engineers next year as part of a £5 billion deal to build Hawk jets for Qatar. But BAe Brough says that while the future of high-tech engineering is safe at the site, 400 manufacturing jobs remain under threat. Sarah Walton has this report.
Right now there's plenty to keep staff here busy, with work well underway making parts for 9 new Hawk jets.
We build 40% of the Hawk aircraft on this site. It's tailplanes, fins, flaps, nose cones, right down to some very small details.
It had been nearly a year since the announcement 400 jobs here are under threat, when the deal with Qatar was finalised in September.
Oh, this was so important for us, so important, and that keeps a manufacturing presence here till mid-2020.
The site in Brough has been producing aircraft for more than a century, but the company's had to change dramatically to survive. From 5,000 staff mostly working in traditional manufacturing jobs in the 70s, there are now around 800 people here, most of whom work on the more high-tech engineering side of the business.
This is the cockpit of an advanced Hawk jet. It's something like this which will be used to train pilots all around the world. And while here at Brough they still make the physical nuts and bolts of a plane, a lot of their focus now is on making the software for the cockpit and essentially making it as easy to control as your smartphone.
And so secure is this part of the industry that they're expanding, taking on 70 new engineers and 30 apprentices next year. Some of their work will be developing technology for the Tempest, the new fighter set to replace the RAF's Typhoons in the future. But unions say focusing on that engineering is short-sighted, and with no orders lined up to make physical aircraft, manufacturing jobs here are still under threat.
The thing is a future fighter is on the table and there's technological demonstrations in place till 2025 for that to happen. That creates a lot of engineering work in the first instance, but once all the engineering work's complete, then you start to move that we need somebody to build this thing. And that's why it's so important to keep your manufacturing capability.
The company says it is working with the government to sell more aircraft, mostly in the Middle East.
There's a huge amount of effort being put in to secure more Hawk orders. Those campaigns are well advanced, but by no means over the line. And it's will they come in time? We can't speculate on that. All we can do is all we can to try and secure those Hawk orders, and there is definite interest in the market for the sale of more Hawks.
Work on the Qatar deal is set to end in 2020, and while managers are confident the future of the site is secure, they say the business will have to continue to adapt to a changing market.
It's a story of two bits really, isn't it? Sarah's here in the studio with us now. What's the latest then on the 400 jobs which are under threat at the factory in Brough?
Well, Peter, the company says it is doing everything it can to try and avoid job cuts. But if no new order comes through to build Hawk jets when the Qatar deal ends, then about 230 jobs are at risk. What it's hoping to do with other people, though, is retrain them. You saw in that piece there that there is this new focus at the Brough site on these high-tech jobs. And the company says that many people working in those traditional manufacturing roles will have some of the skills, but certainly the experience to retrain and move into those more technical engineering roles, and indeed move into a side of the company that is actually expanding.
Lovely. Sarah, thank you very much indeed, Sarah Walton.